So good morning. In this lecture, we'll discuss about linear functionals. So first of all, we'll discuss about what is a functional. So a functional is an operator whose range lies on the real line or in the complex plane. So the function analysis was initially the analysis of these functionals. So bounded linear functional is a bounded linear operator with the domain in a norm linear space and range in a vector space or norm space of scalar field of x. So let x under addition and multiplication with the norm defined over it is a norm space, and then the function from x to a field k of reals or complex. So we can define a boundary linear functional from x to a field of a real or complex if f is a linear functional, that is f of alpha x plus beta y is equal to be alpha x plus beta y for every x and y belongs to be a norm space x, and alpha and beta belongs to be a field k. And there exists a c greater than 0 such that the modulus of a f of x is less than equal to be c times the norm of x. Or we can define the norm of AF as a supremum of a modulus of AF of x over the norm of AX, where x is a non-zero and x belongs to be domain of AF. Or this definition can also be defined as norm of AF is equal to be a supremum of modulus of AF of x, where the norm of AX is less than equal to be 1 and x belongs to be domain of AF. Or we can say that the norm of AF is equal to be a supremum of a modulus of AF of x, where the norm of Ax is equal to be 1. So hence modulus of a f of x is less than equal to be norm of a f into the norm of ax for every x belongs to be domain of a. Now the following theorem will tell us about the continuity of a linear functionals. So let x be a norm linear space over a field k and f be a linear functional from this norm linear space to a field k. Then f is a continuous if and only if the kernel of a f is closed in x. Now first suppose that f is a continuous. So now we have the kernel of a x is equal to be a collection of all those x such that f of x is equal to be 0, which is equal to be the inverse of f, which is equal to be closed set in a x. Now suppose that kernel of a f is a closed in x and assume that f is a 0 functional on x, that is f of x is equal to be 0 for all x belongs to be x. So now we have already proved up this case. If f is a 0 functional, so f is a continuous in this. Assume that f is a non-zero functional, but we know that the x minus the kernel of af is a non-empty and open in Ax. So let A belongs to be x minus the kernel of af. Now if A belongs to be x minus kernel of af, so f of A is not equal to 0. So take B is equal to be A upon the f of A. So f of B is equal to be 1 if we took up the functional over the B, and B belongs to be x minus kernel of af. So as x minus kernel of f is open, so there exists a r greater than 0 such that the ball around the point B of radius r is subset of a x minus kernel of f. So take V is a collection of all those x belongs to be a norm space x such that the modulus of f of x is less than 1. So now we have to prove that this ball of 0 vector of ax is a subset of a V. So let x belongs to be this. If possible, let x does not belongs to be V. So we will suppose that x does not belong to B. Now if x does not belong to be V means in this case this condition is not being satisfied. So f of x is greater than equal to b1. So now take the y is equal to be a minus of ax over the modulus of ax. So f of y is equal to be minus 1. and norm of a y is equal to be modulus of ax over the norm of ax over the modulus of a f of x, which is less than equal to be norm of ax, which is less than r. So y belongs to be a br theta. Now we choose consider the norm of a y. The norm of a y can be written as a b plus y minus of a b. Now this is less than r. So b plus y belongs to be a brb. So again f of b plus y will be considered up. So by the linearity of AF, we can say that this is equal to be f of b plus f of y. So we already proved up here previously f of b is equal to be 1 and f of y is equal to minus 1. So this is equal to 0. It means that this f b plus y we have is equal to be 0. So b plus y belongs to be kernel of AF. So b plus y belongs to be kernel of AF intersection BRB. So which is a contradiction to the fact that the BRB is a subset of x minus of kernel of AF. So our assumption is wrong. So it can say that the BR theta is a subset of a B. Now choose that x is not a zero vector such that x belongs to be a BR theta. So norm of ax is less than r, and we consider up a 1 by 2 times norm of ax into the rx full norm, which is equal to be a r by 2, which is less than r. So the rx over the 2 times norm of ax belongs to be BR theta, which is a subset of a y v. Hence we consider the modulus of f of rx over 2 times norm of ax, which is less than 1, or this can be written as r by 2 times the norm of ax into f of x, which is less than 1, or we can say that this can be written as this, or modulus of f of x is less than 2 times the norm of ax over the r. So this implies that f is a bounded, and we already proved that in a bounded linear transformation, if f is a bounded, then f is a continuous. So we get that f is a continuous, hence we get the result. So now we prove that the dot product is defined by this is a bounded linear functional. So let here we define a dot product from a finite dimensional space to a R such that f of x is equal to be x dot a, where x is equal to be x1, x2, so on xn belongs to be Rn, and a is equal to be a1, a2, so on an belongs to be Rn. Then f of x is a bounded linear functional, and the norm of af is being defined as a norm of a. So we have the modulus of f of x, which is equal to be modulus of x dot a, which is less than equal to be norm of ax into the norm of a. So we can say the norm of af defined by this way, which is less than equal to be norm of a. But norm of af is greater than equal to be modulus of f of a over the norm of a, and f of a will be defined like a x dot a, which is equal to be modulus of a dot a, and by definition this is equal to be norm of a square, which is over the norm of a, so which is equal to be norm of a. So hence from these two cases we can say that the norm of AF is equal to be norm of A. We get the result. So now we have to prove that a definite integral defined under the space of a continuous real valued functions over the interval a to b is a bounded linear functional and its norm is a b minus a. So let x is equal to be a space of all continuous real valued functions over the interval a to b, where the norm of ax is equal to be supremum of a modulus of axt, and define a function f from x to r by f of x is equal to be integral of xt dt from a to b, where the xt belongs to be the space of all continuous real valued functions on the interval a to b, with norm of af is equal to be by. So it is easy to see that this function f is a linear. Also, norm of af is equal to be supremum of a modulus of af of x, which is equal to be supremum of a integral a to b xt dt, which is less than equal to be a supremum of a modulus of axt into the b minus a, which is less than equal to be norm of ax into the b minus a. Hence f is a bounded and norm of af is less than equal to be b minus a. So let x is equal to be x naught and such that the norm of ax is equal to be 1. And consider the modulus of f of x naught. Because we have a norm of x naught is equal to be 1, so this is equal to be the modulus of a to b dt. And if we integrate it up, this is equal to be b minus a. So norm of af which is equal to be modulus of f of x naught over the norm of a x naught, and the norm of a x naught is equal to be 1, so this is equal to be b minus a. So from these two cases we can say that the norm of af is equal to be b minus a, which is the length of the interval. Similarly, if we define a space L2 space of a functional f of x is equal to summation of its I alpha is a bounded linear functional on L2. So define up the f of x is equal to summation of its I alpha I, which is less than or equal to be a summation of a modulus of its I into alpha I by the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. This is less than or equal to be this, which is less than or equal to be c times norm of ax. We get the result. So now we'll give an example of an unbounded linear functional. So let X is a space of a L infinity with the norm defined by the norm of Ax is equal to be supremum of a xi I over the I. So here the X belongs to be L infinity and xi I are the scalars. So define f from x to r by f of x is equal to be summation of xi I. Then f is an unbounded linear function. So clearly f is a linear. So choose the sequence xn belongs to be L infinity, where xn is equal to be a summation of a ei, where the ei is being defined as the one on the ith place and all the other elements are 0. So for each natural number n, we have a norm of a xn is equal to be summation, norm of a summation of a ei, which is equal to be 1 by the definition of ei, and f of xn is equal to be n. Thus we see that for each natural number n, f of xn is equal to be n times the norm of a xn. So it follows that norm of af is equal to be infinity. Hence f is an unbounded linear functional on a L infinity. So now we will discuss about the following result which is required for our next theorem. So let f be a non-zero linear functional on a linear space Ax and x naught belongs to be x minus kernel of af. Then any x in a linear space capital X can be expressed uniquely in the form of a x equal to be y plus alpha times x naught, where y belongs to be kernel of af and alpha is a scalar. Now since x naught belongs to be x minus kernel of af, and if we have a f of x naught is non-zero, so choose alpha is equal to be f of x over the f of x naught, where x belongs to be x, and the y is equal to be x minus f of x over the f of x naught into the x naught. So by rearranging it out, we have x is equal to be y plus alpha times x naught, with alpha is equal to be f of x over the f of x naught. So f of y is equal to be f of this value, x minus f of x over the f of x naught minus the x naught. Because f is a linear, so we can say this is equal to be f of x minus of f of x over the f of x naught into the f of x, which is equal to be 0. So it implies that f of y is equal to be 0. So we get that f belongs to be kernel of f. So for the uniqueness, so take x is equal to be y1 plus alpha 1 x naught and x is equal to be a y2 plus alpha 2 times x naught. For some y1, y2 belongs to be kernel of af, where y1 is not equal to be y2. And alpha 2 are the scalars. Now if alpha 1 is equal to be alpha 2, in these cases we get that the y1 is equal to be y2. We get the result here. Now suppose that alpha 1 is not equal to be alpha 2. So then from these two conditions we get that the x naught is equal to be y2 minus the y1 over the alpha 1 minus the alpha 2, which belongs to be a kernel of af, which is a contradiction to our assumption, because here the x belongs to be x minus of a kernel of af. So we get the result. So next theorem will tell us about this kernel of a f is a dense or a closed set in a nonlinear space. So let x be a nonlinear space and f be a linear functional on this nonlinear space x. then the set kernel of AF is either dense or closeness in X, either dense or closed in X. So first suppose that this kernel of AF is not closed. Then there exists a point X naught does not belong to be kernel of AF such that X naught is a limit point of a kernel of AF. Since kernel of AF is a subspace of AX, so it follows that the closed of a kernel of AF is also subspace of AX. So therefore the closeness of a kernel of AF contains a linear span of AX and kernel of AF. So using the previous lemma, if it contains a linear span of AX and kernel of AF, we get the X is a subset of a closure of a kernel of AF. So hence kernel of AF is a full space X out there. So we get the denseness out there. So now using up the continuity theorem and this theorem, we get the following result. So let X be a non-linear space and F be a linear functional on AX. Then F is a bounded if and only if kernel of AF is dense in AX. So we have already proved up this part out there. So using up a theorem, this one, we have proved that if F is a linear functional, then F is a kernel of F is either dense or closed in X, or in the previous theorem, we have already proved that if X is a nonlinear space and F is a linear functional on X, then F is a continuous if and only if the kernel of F is closed in X. So using up these two theorems, we get this result. Then we have F is a bounded if and only if the kernel of F is not dense in X. So these are the references. Thank you.